What's up, everybody? I'm at the racetrack. We made it to Laguna Seca. We got camped out. We got here safe. Everything went smooth. Now you might be asking, what did I take? The car that I brought is that one. You might be asking yourself, but Simon, you worked so hard to get here. Why did you bring that thing? Well, there's a very good reason. So part of the reason why I wanted to do this journey was to prove that this city car, because remember the i3 was developed as a city car, can still handle road trips. Now I have the middle level battery, so I get about 100 miles on just the charge. I have the range extender, gives me another 75, 80 miles using some gasoline. But this trip was 320 miles, so do the math, and you know I had to make a couple stops, especially going over the Grapevine in Los Angeles to get to Central California. So this is actually our third stop, but we're already in Monterey. This is the third time we're charging, and one of the big things I wanted to find out was, can this car make a long road trip? And yes, we made it 320 miles without any real issues. So there's your myth busted. But really, the biggest problem has been access to a charger. So big shout out to ChargePoint. This has been a great company that I've been using. This was actually my first foray into using their system. We've never had an issue. You can see here 2 are in use. 1 is still available. But I mentioned access is a problem. So that access issue is because, look at, I'm at an airport, and right behind me there is a gate. So I'm having to pay a charge. You can see this car right here. They're coming in. They're gonna have to pay for coming in and parking here. I'm here just to charge, but because it's on the other side of this gate, I'm gonna be paying for the charging, and I'm also going to be paying for parking here. So small minor inconvenience. Now let's rewind a little bit. I mentioned I drove 320 miles to get here, door to door. 2 stops. I left Los Angeles with a full charge. We stopped once around Buttonwillow, so this was after we went over the mountain. I still wasn't out of fuel, battery, whatever, because I was using a combo of both. I have the hold state of charge button activated on my car, so anytime the battery is under 75%, I can flip that bad boy on and start using some good old American gasoline. It's not American gasoline, I don't know where it comes from, but so that was cool. The other thing that was cool is watching just how much regenerative power the car gets on the downhills. It's been really cool. We literally we had about 60 miles of just battery left on the way down. It went up to like 65, 68, something like that by the time we got to the bottom. And then once things flattened out, the car realized, oh hey, we're not climbing mountains anymore. It went from 68, 69, all the way to 100 plus, just like that, because it realized, hey, we're not doing this, we're doing this now. But what I did want to mention is it was only about $30. It was a $10 battery, $10 in gas for like 2 gallons of fuel, and then another $10 to recharge. So $30 to go 320 miles. ChargePoint has been great. On average, we spend about 20-30 minutes. I get a good amount of charge. So the first stop, we stopped at a Starbucks. We got some coffee, we got a little snack, came back out, battery was at like 80-90%, hit the road again. Next stop, we stopped at the grocery store. We got the last of our supplies for the weekend, I hope, we'll see. But again, came back out, battery was at like 90-something%, hit the road again, you know? There's a mentality shift that needs to happen if you want to use EVs regularly. And the biggest part is, where do you find time to charge? So for us, because I'm a smart person, as you know, with all of my decisions, we stopped at Starbucks, charged the car. We stopped at the grocery store, charged the car. And that made that 300-mile journey seamless. Anyways, I'll keep you guys posted on anything else that pops up. All right, so I'm back in Los Angeles. We got a tan, and we successfully did an 850-mile round trip with the i3. I even drove through a crazy rainstorm yesterday, and it was pretty wild, especially because I had to plug in the car while that rain was going on. So those people who freak out about electricity, you don't need to worry about it. In other news, this car is doing pretty good. I'm pretty happy with it. So the whole point of this experiment was to see how the charging system was outside of the big city. There was one small nervous moment where we had about 60 miles we needed to go, and I had about 55 miles of range. So went into Eco Pro Plus mode and just babied it, doing 55, let the cars pass me, made it to the gas station, added the 2 gallons. That got me to the charging station, and then we were fine. You know, it wasn't like a huge delay in the trip. But yeah, that was about the only time I had any kind of anxiety behind all of this. So, yeah, successful trip. It was basically all charge points. After that little anxiety session, there was a charger that was Electrify America 3 miles away. And when we got to that one, it said all 3 were available when I looked at the app. But in reality, only 1 was available. So Electrify America is a bust. The one time I needed them, they failed me. Like I said, there was 3 chargers. One of them was out of service. The other 2 were in use, and it was people with big batteries that probably ran it dry and had no other options. And then there was 1 person waiting on top of that. I had the range extender. I still had 30, 40 miles I could go. I went to the next charger. Same one in Buttonwillow. And the beauty of it, I just have to say, the 3 stations that Electrify America had all showed green lights. It all looked like they were available. But when you got to charge point, there was 3 available and they all showed green. But once I plugged in, it went blue. So it was a very easy visual of what's actually available and what isn't. So yeah, to summarize, if you got an i3, just be prepared and you can make it happen. Even if it's a crazy rainstorm, even if you've got a long way to go, even if you think, hey, I've only got 120 miles of range, can I go from, you know, Northern California to Southern California? You absolutely can. It just takes a little bit of planning. So the answer to the question, can you take an i3 on an 850-mile road trip without problems? The answer is yes. Catch you later.